Good afternoon, everyone. So this is the card. This is card 2. I've done it kind of 2 different ways. This one is just coloured, for those of you that don't particularly like blending, although I have blended here. And then this one is completely watercoloured and blended with the aqua painter, so you can kind of see the different effects. So let's, as always in April's coffee and card classes, we're using the Someone Special. It's a 2-step stamping. You can stamp this in a darker colour and overstamp in the lighter colour, but I wanted to specifically focus on the colouring with the watercolour pencils. I'll pop these to one side. In fact, this one, I don't know if you can see, I've Wink of Stella'd the balloon. Can you see it where I've, in the light? So that one's been Wink of Stella'd. So pop those to one side. Right, the bits that you need. Crumb cake base, 5 7/8 by 8 1/4. It's half of a UK A4, okay? And then it's going to be scored in half at 4 1/4 or 10.5 centimetres. You need a balmy blue mat, which is 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, and a whisper white mat that is 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. Let's move those out the way. I'll pop them back inside there. So I've got those bits. Right, let's grab my trimmer. We that haven't got the new Stampin' Up trimmer, I love mine. The blades are wider than on the previous trimmer, so they are definitely lasting me longer and are much better. Right, so that's my scoring done. I'll just fold my card, pop my trimmer down, because I've obviously cut everything else ready. Just gonna fold that down and use my bone folder. There we go. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is stick my matte layer. You could sponge around the edges of your layers if you've got the inks at home to give a pretty effect. I'm doing it quite simply because I know not all of my current customers have every ink at home, and this way they don't need to feel that they're going to be missing out on doing something. Right, so that's my matte layer all down ready. Right, the next bit we're going to do, I'll pop that there, is we're going to stamp our images. I think this is the 4th time I've stamped these images this afternoon even. Right, so the first one I'm going to do is my squirrel. Just going to pop him down like that. Then the mouse. Don't like mice really, but I kind of think this one is quite cute. There's my mouse. Now I'm going to do the balloon string, and I would tap, tap, tap on the memento for your balloon string, because you don't want it overly inked, otherwise you'll end up with a horrible splodgy string. Right, just positioning it so it's through his hand but not over his nose. There you go, through his hand. The beauty of the photopolymer stamps is obviously you can see through them. I'm using the heart-shaped balloon. I think it's really pretty. Now we're going to use the big flower. I'm going to start at this end. And one at that end, and then I'm just going to position them in between. Then I'm going to do the little flower. Just going to bring my ink pad up here. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Pop that to one side. If you want to add butterflies or anything else, then obviously you can add those as you want. So we're going to colour these images, and I've got my watercolour pencils here ready, and I'm going to be using aqua painter as well. So the first one I'm going to do is my balloon. I'm just going to lay the colour around the edge. You can see where the shading is that Stampin' Up have put in, where the darker colour needs to be, kind of the hashing if you like. So I'm just going to lay some colour down there, more colour on this side than anywhere else. I'm going to take my aqua painter and I'm going to blend that quite well, and I'm just going to start drawing the colour in, kind of going in a circular motion, making sure it's all blended. There you go, and you can see the light is coming straight towards my balloon. Okay. The next one we're going to do is our squirrel, and as before I'm going to lay Cajun craze everywhere except for his tummy. I'm going darker on that leg, and I'm just going to lay Cajun craze all down, circular motion, making sure I've got that arm as well. missing his nose there because we want to do that in a different colour. There you go. Right, I'm going to use Calypso Coral for his tummy in the middle. Sorry, I've got a bit of a tickle and I haven't got a glass of water. Right, like that. And I'm just going to do his nose with Calypso Coral as well. There we go. I'm going to add some pumpkin pie. Start his tail just around the edges. Kind of doing small zigzaggy strokes in the way that the fur is going, really. Working up his spine and around the back of his head. There we go. Under his chin, because there's definitely some shading there, and around this little arm. There we go, and that one there, and around his leg. And that back leg will be darker. Okay, I'm just going to add some extra little bits of colour because I'm going to kind of blend this with the aqua painter. So there's spots of colour. It's going to blend his legs a bit so the colour is more blended. And that little arm. And then over his tail. And up his ear. Okay. Now a little mouse, I've done everything in early espresso. Let's bring that one back in. But I've gone really lightly to start with. Very, very lightly. I'm hardly putting any pressure on the pencil whatsoever. Don't do inside his ear because obviously you want his ear, the inside, to be quite pink. So again, I'm using Calypso Coral. And there's his little nose. I think it's his little nose that I really find quite cute, actually. Okay. And his tail, just lightly over his tail. Can then go back in. And again, like we did with the pumpkin pie on the squirrel, highlight those areas that are going to be quite shady. Like down his leg there, look, under his tummy. Give him some extra colour. And again, I'm just going to bring in the aqua painter, kind of go around those bits, just to blend that colour in. There you go. So that's your little mouse. We're going to do the grass around them. So I'm going to lay some colour down, go between his feet. And then again, using the aqua painter, I'm literally just going to blend that colour out. There we go, around his tail. Right, let's move on to our flowers. I'm going to do the large ones with Daffodil Delight. Yeah, that is exactly what that was called. I had to double check. Just going to put the colour over them very quickly. Right, I'm going to do the pumpkin pie now. Right, and then I can just go back in and add some extra shading as I want around the edges. You could, of course, in this way do your flowers two-tone if you wanted. You could colour them all very pale to start with a yellow and leave them to dry and then go over them with the pumpkin pie, which would look very pretty. These watercolour pencils are really lovely and soft to use. There we go. Right, there you go. Right, the last thing I'm going to do before I pop this on the card is I'm going to add, I'm going to add some pearls. Brilliant. And then last but not least, we're just going to glue this one to the front of your card base. If you wanted to put a sentiment on there, you could put a sentiment in the top left hand corner. I've left these blank so that when I send them out to people and I write on a post-it note inside, they can reuse them and send them out to someone for whatever they want to use it for. Okay, so there is, as you can see, I've got 3 samples of this one, 3 samples of card 2. Look forward to seeing you for card 3.